Well, hey peepers, it's me again, Margaret. How y'all doing? I'm sitting out here on my porch, drinking some coffee. Our neighbor Rick brought us over some biscuits. I had a sausage egg biscuits. My boys had an egg biscuit. He got them an egg biscuit. God is so good, y'all. He's so good. But I'm on here because, well, I don't really care much for politics, and I don't care much about, talking about religion, so to speak, as far as religious denominations and stuff. I love talking about God. I love talking about what He expects from us, how to have faith in Him, how to love Him, how to pray and talk to Him, messages He might give me to give to you. But politics, I kind of steer away from that. And the religion of politics, stay away from that too. Because religious denominations have politics. And politics have politics. But I want to encourage everybody. We all have to vote. Some people don't vote. Oh, it don't make no difference. Maybe it don't. But it's what people think that matters. Because it's all about faith. And if your faith is strong, then it matters. And if you're drawing negative faith to you, then that negative faith becomes strong. That's why you're supposed to think positive on all things good, so that it draws all things good to you and for others. So when you're praying for others, you're asking for good things for them. And God will bless for those good things. But if you think bad, negative things for somebody, then those bad, negative things happen. It's like a magnet. So when you get out and vote, you're voting for good, hopefully. And so you're bringing positive to whoever you're voting for. You're adding more goodness to their life. So when you get out and vote, I see this is October. Voting is in November here in my state, North Carolina. So I assume in the whole United States, in November, everyone votes. And I guess there's people running. But look at the politics of it. And I don't like politics. But if you look at the politics of it, who's going by the rules? Who's not? Who's got a good track record? Who don't? Don't just think, well, this person's religious, this person ain't. This person's got bad smut on them, this person don't. I'm sorry, we all have bad smut on us in some way, shape, or form. Others just know how to hide it better. But if a person has a very bad track record on their political scale, why would you vote for that person? Why would you continue to want the negative? Why would you continue to want that? If a person has a positive on their track record of all things good, do the research yourself. Don't worry about CNN, ABC, or anything like that. Do the research yourself. Don't go on there and look at that. Look at everything across the board. Look and see before you vote. Whether it's for your council member, maybe a school council, whether it's a county council, state council, look at them first as a person. Find out if you agree with their ways. You know, you might vote, and I'm going to say it like this, you might vote for a Republican who believes in abortion. And there's many of them out there. But you yourself don't. So why would you vote for that person when you don't believe in that? Or vice versa, a Democrat. There's plenty of Democrats, let me tell you, that do not believe in abortion. Just the same as it is in Republican. But you got to see which one they're running for. Are they using that as their, to get more votes? Think about that. Are they manipulating people to get the votes with specifics? Let me give you a for instance. There was this lady, I think she was a white lady. Yes, I said something of color, because, I mean, how am I supposed to? Who said she was an Indian. But you're white. Then come find out she wasn't Indian at all, didn't even have it in her bloodline. So, think about this. You know, use common sense, okay? Now, I'm going to say this because it's one of the candidates, like Miss Harris, for instance. She was an Indian all her life till now. All of a sudden, she's black. Why? Because she wants the black vote. Come on now. Just be who you were. Don't try and change to manipulate people so that you can get your foot in a door. Be yourself. Be who you are and let people accept you for who you are, Miss Harris. I mean, come on. If she wins, she's the first white female? No. She's the first Indian female. No. She's the first female president if she wins. What has color got to do with anything? Whether it's black, white, Indian, you know, it doesn't matter. But look at her track record. Well, first off, I'm independent at heart. So I look at the people. And she has never answered a question straightly. She has never answered a question. She goes off in some kind of poetry somewhere. And to me, that's not a person for the community. That's not a person for the state. That's not a person for my nation either. Because that means she thinks I, as the public person, that she can out somewhere in space speak, and I'm supposed to just vote for her. Well, first off, lady, you haven't even given me a reason to vote for you, okay? At all. Because your track record of how you use people and bash people haven't told me anything tangible for me to vote for you. But first and foremost, she was just put in there. She didn't even have to run. And that's because she got picked as a vice president. But all other past ones had to run and do the politics. She was just set in there all of a sudden. And she never answers questions. She's off in la la land somewhere, it seems, half the time. She talks in parable kind of things, I think. Down minding or down making people think, or she thinks she's better than they are. She's always laughing. Takes nothing serious. And when I look at her personal life and what I've known of it from my research, that's just the political part there. But her regular life, I don't agree with any of her morals. You know, I don't agree with her morals. I don't agree with abortion. I don't agree that, you know, for me, I think that if someone murders someone, they should get either life imprisonment or, unfortunately, the death penalty, depending on what it is. Me personally, I don't believe in the death penalty. But I know scripture says, you know, eye for an eye, you know, that kind of thing. But I personally don't believe in a death penalty. But I believe a person should live their entire life in prison. So some of my morals do not click with hers. And that's okay. But I have found nothing about her that has said, vote for me. In fact, I get this very uneasy feeling with her. As if she's not being very forthcoming with anything. It's almost as if, and I'm going to say it like this, she doesn't know anything. Someone else does, but she doesn't. Now, let's say for the other one. Everybody's going, oh, you're for Trump then. I don't agree with a lot of things about Trump. He's a hothead. He don't think before he opens his mouth. And half the time, all he does is insult people. Been married I don't know how many times. Couple anyway. These are just, you know, his personal, I guess, ways. Just as hers was, her politics was never answering. Well, with Trump, you know, there's things I disagree with him. But I understand them. He's actually put something out there on the table and you understand it. He's the kind of person who is a businessman, a very shrewd one. Yeah, he's had past dealings. So is she. She's got, you know, things we don't like about her, and he's got things we don't like about him. Don't make them bad people. It just means that their ideas and their, you know, morals are different. But would I vote for Trump? Yes, I would. Why? You might ask me that. Yeah. Well, I would vote for Trump because, one, he is a businessman. And in his past record, he did quite well in business. In business. You heard that right. In business. This country is like a business. And it needs to make money. Not just give it away. This country needs to make money. All other countries make money off us, but we don't make money off them. We should be making money. And with him, we made money. Things were better community-wise. Things were starting to build. So anyway, with that aside, the other reason why is a lot of his morals. He believes in education. He believes in family. He believes in a good paying job. He believes that if you work hard, you come out on top. Nobody gives you anything. You work for it. Today's world, everybody just wants to be gave everything through the government and not work for what they get. And if they don't have, then they whine to make changes so that nobody does without, even when they don't work. And I'm going to say it, I have nieces who have more children than they need. And guess what? The government pays them taxes and they don't even work. So you're going to take taxes from people like me, my husband, and other people who work really hard to pay their taxes. And when they do their tax returns, they still have to pay taxes or hardly get anything back, versus people who pay no taxes, don't work. They can still do refunds and get thousands of dollars just because they have children. The government is not forcing these people to get jobs. What it's doing is forcing them to have more children so they can get more money. They not only live off of DSS or any kind of other government institution, they also get money to go on vacations and stuff. And that's what they do. They don't use that for paying their bills or anything. They go on vacation. I need a vacation. From what? You don't work? That's my thoughts on it. Does it mean I'll hate them or anything? No, I love my nieces very much. And hey, if you're going to work the system, work the system. If you know how to do it, do it. If they're going to make it available, then by all means do it. Because they're stupid enough to make it available for you. So be smart enough to use it. And that's my thoughts of it. But I was using it as an example as to how the system has failed the working person. You're paying for someone else not to work. Instead of your taxes and instead of your Social Security going to be put up for you when you retire and for your Social Security, there will be no Social Security because they're paying all these people who are having these children and dropping them like fleas on a dog. I mean, you're a mother, you've got your husband with you, or you don't have your husband with you. You're living off the system, and you got 5 and 6 kids, and you're still dropping kids. Hello? If you can't afford what you've got, why would you continue? I understand. The scripture says, go forth and multiply. But you should be wise enough to marry or to have a job to help pay for those children. The government and people who are out there paying their taxes and struggling shouldn't be the ones with you leeching on their back. But the government allows that. You pay your taxes, you do your thing, and let the government take your money and disperse it wherever they so choose. I don't think that's correct. That should not be. Because those things are to go for taking care of the roads. Those things are for taking care of, government business. Those things are for to put back for Social Security and Medicare. Those things are for Medicaid for elderly. Those things are for those, not for these young kids who's out there, just sitting back reaping the benefits of older people, generations. That's why there's not going to be no Social Security, because these young ones are not working to put the money in there for when I get of age or my husband gets of age. They're not working. So there's no money there. So how are you going to make money? By picking politicians who will make those changes. And by picking politicians who know how to run a business, like Trump. He's shrewd businessman. Miss Harris is not. She's not a shrewd businesswoman. I don't know how she got where she's at, but by listening to her, she's a dummy. Just listening to her, okay? Just listening to her. So I don't know if she's a puppet or whether she just don't want to tell you nothing. But if you want me to vote for you, you're going to have to convince me that you're the one I need to vote for. And she's not being convincing at all. She's being quite secretive. So, as if she's hiding something from everybody that we're not supposed to know. And Trump, even though he's a loud, hot-headed person, he at least gives you something to think about. As individuals, as people, I don't like either one of them. Because they've both got their, bad characters. I mean, when you read up on her, she puts people in jail, black people mostly, and uses them like the chain gang, so to speak. That I don't mind. Not for black people, but for people in general. I think if you're in institutions for prisoners, I think they should be on chain gangs. It shouldn't be easy for them. You did a crime, pay for it. But they don't. They sit back like it's a country club. They have their own gangs within the prisons, their own cell block gangs, and that stuff. And they get internet, they get telephone calls, they get to so much time to talk to somebody. They get, their meals are, great meals. They get education, they get high school, they get college. If you are in a institution like that, this is my own opinion, it's not yours, but it's my own opinion, they don't need to be educated. Not in that sense. They need to be educated about the crime that they committed and why it was wrong. I don't think they need to be educated. I really don't. They should not have for free the things people out here in this world have to pay for. They're criminals. Why should the communities around them be paying for them to be educated? I'm sorry. But my son and my daughter, my nieces, my nephews, my grandchildren, those are the ones. If the government wants to pay for education, pay for somebody who's not in prison to be educated. The less fortunate. Not the ones who chose to do a crime. Chose to do, murder. Chose to, steal from people repetitively. Chose to stay strung out and hurting people. Don't pay for those people to be educated like that. They can be educated as to what they did wrong, why it was wrong. But to give them law degrees? To give them free? Hello? No. Put them on chain gangs. Let them be the ones to fix the roads. Yeah. And put the ones who would be fixing the roads in college for free. So they can better the communities around them. I mean, that's just my thoughts. So as you can see, I just look at each person and I see how do I agree with them in certain ways. And then I'll look at their past record, their history of the things that they've done while they're in their little office areas, whether they were, a council member or whether they were a governor or a lieutenant governor or, a senator or House representatives, whatever it may be. Look and see their, I guess, in the political world, they say their policies. And what policies did they vote for and say yay or nay on? And were those policies or those laws something I agree with? Think about that. Don't worry about who was sleeping with who. Don't worry about all those things, because those things show in their policies. Those things show in their actions. We all fall short. We've all done stupid things in our past, in our childhood, and in our young adults. I think if you could find the cleanest person possible, you're going to find dirt. So don't listen to the dirt that these media people come up with. Do your own research and look at their policies. Look at what they agree to, what they vote on, what they push to pass. Then make your decision. Then make your choice. Make a calculated decision. Not just, well, my mama was Republican or my daddy was Democrat and I'm this. Look at their policies. Look at what they agree to. Does it match you? Does it match you? And I think business people, someone who's business minded, who has some morals. And to me, Trump is crazy and weird as he is, and Kamala, as crazy and weird as she is, I look at their morals of things that they agree to. Kamala has never had children, so she's not going to push to better our children in a future, because she doesn't have children. She doesn't know, she doesn't have that motherly instinct. So to put a woman in there who has no motherly instinct, that might be a good thing, it might be a bad thing. For me, I don't think it's a good thing that she doesn't have that motherly instinct, because she's not protective. She's protective of herself, but she's never had to protect anything other than herself. But then again, because she doesn't have that motherly instinct, she's not going to be as gentle on your child when it comes to the laws and stuff as if someone who had a child. So you can think about them in two different ways. And Trump, he believes in family. He's taking care of all his children from the different, and he's a loving father. But he's a protective father. Loving and protective. So he knows both of those issues. So when he's making those policies and stuff, he's going to look at that and say, if this was my child, would this be good for them? Or will it hurt them? So, I mean, you just have to look at the people. Give it some thought, some real thought. Not just, well, I'm a Democrat, I'm voting Democrat. I'm a Republican, I'm voting Republican. I'm an independent at heart, and I'll vote for whoever I think the best candidate is. But unfortunately, when it comes to major voting, you're either Democrat or Republican. And I don't think that is a fair trade for someone who, like myself, who's independent, because then it makes me be, it only allows me to vote for one or the other, instead of saying, I like these Democrats and they would really make a good asset in the House or in the Senate, and I like this Republican and this Republicans, and to put them in. But they don't allow that. They don't allow you to do that. You're Republican or you're Democrat, and that's it. And I don't find that, I don't find it right, Many a times I go up to there and I'm told, yeah, okay, put the R or the D beside each one of them so that they know they're Republican or Democrat. But to say, oh, okay, you're this, so here's yours. And you only get to pick between the Republican side or the Democrat side. You don't get to go over and say, well, I like this Republican. And I don't think that's right. I think that you should put the Democrats and the Republicans all on the same thing and allow a person to pick the best person for the job. So you see, that's how I think. And again, I may not think the way everybody else does, but to me, I think, as from an independent view, that it shouldn't be one or the other. If a person's a Republican but they agree with this certain Democrat, they should be able to pick that Democrat, and vice versa. If a Democrat, voter agrees with this Republican, they should be able to vote for that Republican and put that Republican in place, or that Democrat in place, and that way they're working together. But because they split it down the middle, they created the division, and I don't think that's right. They shouldn't be creating a division. They should be putting it all together and allowing the public to vote according to their knowledge, versus, oh, well, I'm a Republican, so I'm going to put all these Republicans in. I'm a Democrat, I'm going to put all these Democrats in. Isn't that what they call a monopoly? That they say is illegal in the first place? Or am I wrong? Doesn't matter. It's an opinion. And opinions are like armpits. Everybody's got a few, and sometimes they stink. But hey, get out there and vote. Research your candidates, all of them, right down to the school council, city council, governors, the state council, to the federal council, which is the United States Council. Vote. Do your research. Find out who you agree on, who you can understand. Are they clear, or are they not clear? Who cares if they're a hothead? Who cares if they've got, crap that happened back when they were, I don't know, council members or whatever. We all mess up. We all make mistakes. Every one of us has got dirt under the carpet or monsters in our closet. Don't vote on those things. You're not voting on those things. You're voting on this. Are they a shrewd business person? Can they, make our community prosper and flourish, which fills our pocketbooks and our pockets, our wallets, or not? Are they morally in agreement with my morals or not? Some people's morals are different than mine. Mine's different than many. I don't believe in abortion. I have sisters who believe in abortion. Does it mean I hate them? No, I love my sisters. I love them so much. I would go to bat for them. I don't care about their moral like that. Jesus went to bat for people when they were sinners. I'm just as much a sinner as anybody else. So, no, I love them. I don't care what their morals are or what their morals ain't. But when it comes to people who are going to represent me, they need to be representing me. I need to have in place in all these areas people that kind of think like me, have those same morals. Not every one of them is going to have them, by no means, because we're not all perfect. So I guess what I'm trying to say is get out there and vote. And if you don't vote because, well, it don't mean, yes, it does. Your vote is like a magnet, and it draws either good or bad. And if you're voting, you're drawing good to that person that you're voting for. So get out there, sign up, and vote. And don't worry about the politics of stuff. Just look at the person, find out their morals, their ways, look at their track record. Did they prosper the community or the job in which they did, or did they downgrade it? Are they just moving up because they didn't do good there? You don't want to pick people like that. You want to pick somebody who prospers things, someone who's business, shrewd, who can prosper a community without destroying it. Someone who's going to fill the pockets of the community, fill the pockets of everybody, not just their own. You see what I'm saying? You got a person like Trump who said in his first running, I don't want paid. And he didn't get paid. That's not a person who was looking out for himself. That's a person who said, I don't want your money. I got my own money. And I'll donate my money to such and such. Wow. That's a big impact. That's a big impact. That in itself, he is so rich that he was not about to take the money of the citizens of the United States. No matter how small or how much. Wow. That makes a big impact. Because that means he really does care about the people. Think about that. When you're making your vote, do the people you're voting for really care about the people? Or are they just trying to better themselves? Is it a selfish, self-centered? Or is it I really want to do for my community? I love y'all. I hope y'all get something out of this. I'm not really into politics, but I do vote. And I look at the people, and I look to see which ones are which, what kind of person they are, what their past politicals are. And I don't look at their sins and shames, because I too live in a glass house. And why would I want to throw stones to somebody who lives in a glass house? Because all it means is my glass house is going to get shattered just as much as theirs. So instead of looking at their sins and their shames, because we all have them, look at their business mind. Look at what they can do for the community. Or have they stepped up that ladder for self? That's what you got to look at. When you're looking, and vote. Vote for who you believe could make the difference for your community, for your state, for your country. Don't just vote because my mama was this or my daddy was that, or, well, for generations we've been this. Look at the morals of each person that you're voting for, and be a good voter, a good citizen, and do your part so that our world doesn't continue to go in a handbasket to a place we don't want it to go. Make this country a free country again, instead of so much unnecessary rules, laws, and regulations. That's an idea. We need a group, a community group, or a nation group of people to go through all the law books and throw out all these unnecessary laws. Kind of like Jesus did, He took the 10 commandments and said, you know what? This one commandment, or these two commandments will take care of all these. Love God with your whole heart, your whole mind, your whole everything, right? Your body, heart, mind, and soul. And love each other. Love your neighbor as I love you. Love each other as I love you. 2. And that takes it out, because some of it says thou shalt not kill. Well, if you love somebody, you're not going to kill them, right? I think another one is thou shalt not commit adultery. Well, if you love your wife, you're not going to commit adultery, right? It says not to covet your neighbor's wife or belongings. So if you love what you already have and love your wife, you're not going to try to covet and take somebody else's stuff. So, he downgraded all those things and said, here. Doesn't mean they're obsolete. It just means you're not going to do those if you do these 2. So that's what we need to do. We need to bring together a group of people, I guess, a coalition of people who will look through all these laws and get rid of them. And keep in place the ones that cover all the ones they just got rid of. And that way you don't have all these stupid loopholes and different things that you can, and a tangled web we weave when once we practice to deceive. That's an old Irish or Scottish thing, and we don't need that. We don't need to deceive people. We need to just be plain, blunt, to the point, simple, and everybody just love one another and quit fighting so much. Quit being divided. Like, the state, the governments, they divide us. Because in dividing us, we can't get away from the evil. Because we're divided. And Scripture says a house that is divided will not stand. So Satan, so to speak, prefers division. That's how he makes nations fall, is division. Let's not let him win. Let's not be divided. Anyway, I love y'all. I hope you get something out of this. And remember, I love you anyway. I don't care what your beliefs or morals are. I don't care what your religious affiliation is or your political affiliation. I love you just the same. And I know Almighty God loves you just the same. But let's beat this division and quit worrying about all these things that they try to divide us on, and come together as one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.